Hey guys, I figured we would do one last Coachella recap because there were some things that happened weekend 2 that I haven't gotten the chance to talk about because I was boots on the ground reporting. Literally, this one TikTok that I made has me cracking up about Charlie announcing possibly who else is going to be releasing music this summer. But since I have been recapping a lot of the things that have been going down at Coachella throughout the years last weekend and this weekend, I figured we would wrap it all up one final Coachella video. So let's get into everything that has been said. Let's kick things off with none other than Lady Gaga, because once again, she reminded us all what it means to be a performer. During her headlining set, Gaga was giving full glam, full choreo, full vocals, and then suddenly her mic just stopped working. It was right at the top of the show, and yeah, the timing, it was not cute. But instead of freezing up or storming off, she calmly switched to a handheld mic and kept it moving. And honestly, she was so slick about it. I don't think a lot of people even would have noticed it. Like, she did not miss a beat. It was so slick. And then with the most iconic shade ever, she told the audience that at least you know she's singing live. Like, yes, ma'am, we know the vocals were on that night. Fans were loving it. The professionalism off the charts, the moment instantly legendary. But of course, fans were like, come on, Coachella, it's weekend 2. Shouldn't we have this down by now? But mic issues continued as Alessia Cara had come out with Zed on Sunday and also faced mic issues, which sucks because she was the surprise guest and you never want to see that happen because it kind of tainted the moment a little bit, but she was still giving her all and everyone definitely felt for her in that moment. Now, as for another surprise moment that made waves this weekend, Addison Rae came out with Charli XCX, which I had predicted that this might happen. I also just was thinking that maybe Troy would come back out again or Selena, but it was just Addison that came out with Charli this week. I mean, it just makes sense to me. Like, Addison is releasing music soon. She just came out with a new song last week, and she's come out with Charli before. Last week was just like so wild with Lorde, Troy, and Billy. So I know some people had their hopes up, but Addison was the surprise. This was a huge moment for her. She also came out last week and she announced that her album would be coming out this summer. And speaking of summer albums, it seemed Charli was teasing who else might be releasing music this summer. Obviously last year, Brat's summer, and it seems she is passing the torch to a ton of other artists, as at the end of her set, she teased Addison Rae's summer, Lorde summer, A$AP Rocky summer, Rosalia summer, like so many artists, Ethel Cain summer, so freaking many artists that it seems she is saying are releasing music this summer, and we are about to have a crazy musical summer. Now, speaking of Charli though, there was also another conversation surrounding her as she poked some fun at the fact that she thought she should have been headliner. At an after party during weekend 1, she wore a sash that said Miss Should Be Headliner. And well, Green Day, who was the actual headliner on Saturday, seemed to respond this week as Shrek wore a sash that read actual headliner. But I don't think it was shade, it's all love. Billie Joe Armstrong wore a Brat hat while on stage. So clearly they're just having fun, poking fun at Charli wearing that sash, and definitely support the Brat Summer movement. But speaking of actual headliner drama, Travis Scott wasn't exactly an official headliner, as his name is at the bottom of the lineup and it just says that he is going to be designing the desert. He did close out the festival both weekend 1 and 2 on Saturday night, performing after Green Day just before midnight, and he was calling himself a headliner. He posted on Instagram, headlining Saturday night, 11:30 main stage Coachella, and he said he was doing the most. He even seemed to address the reason why he didn't headline in 2022 while on stage this Sunday. Which, if you remember, back in 2022, Travis was supposed to headline before everything changed following the Astroworld tragedy. So during his set this weekend, Travis kind of got reflective. At one point, he said he didn't headline for a lot of reasons and just said that this performance meant a lot to him.
A couple years ago, and for a lot of reasons, I didn't. But I'm so glad that a couple years later, I was able to stay down with me and my guys to be able to headline this stage and whatever the it is tonight. So I love all the day one Rangers that be down with the flame, with Cactus Jack since day one. I love y'all so much. I will never forget this day in my life. JP, let's send this shit to the crib, you heard?
So he's clearly viewing himself as a headliner. I'm wondering how Green Day feels about that one. But it's interesting to hear him say that. I think that, you know, Coachella might have actually wanted Travis to headline this year, but they didn't want to be caught in some sort of controversy by having him as one of the 3 main headliners. So they just stuck him there at the bottom and, you know, had him close out the Saturday night. But I also feel like he didn't need to be there at all, really, because it's not like it was a situation where they didn't want to put him and it was crazy packed. People showed out. People were like, yeah, Travis, I'm so hyped for Travis Scott. Like, he had the biggest crowd or anything like that. Like, you guys, there's so many videos out on the internet right now talking about how it was like empty for Travis. And I will say, I was there. I saw what it looked like Saturday night weekend 1 and Saturday night weekend 2, and it was pretty empty. I was thinking that this weekend it was going to be a little bit more full for him because weekend 1 of Coachella, there's a lot of events, there's a lot of parties, especially on Saturday night. So I figured maybe this weekend it would be a little bit more packed for him. That was absolutely not the case. People still posted on the internet writing, the crowd played Silent Library at Travis Scott's set for Coachella weekend 2. Coachella main stage 5 minutes before Travis Scott's set. I mean, it was not giving what I think maybe he thought it was gonna give. I don't know, you guys, but for the way that he was acting about, I'm the headliner, like, it was not, the crowd was not. It was not even giving the Charlie crowd, and she wasn't a headliner, so I don't know, people were definitely embarrassed for him. And also, just going back to him addressing that he was supposed to headline a couple years ago, but a lot of reasons why that didn't happen. Like, we know exactly why that didn't happen. We know. But I mean, this week he was definitely trying to recover his image from last Saturday, when people were posting that not a lot of people were there. He tweeted out just an hour-ish before he went on Saturday night for weekend 2 saying, redid the sound, redid the set list, I'm ready, Coachella. During his show, though, it seemed things weren't going entirely to plan, though, with the way that he was on stage, telling someone on his crew that it would be their last day, as songs would just abruptly stop. And the way the show ended, everyone seemed a bit confused. It just felt like the music got cut, even though he finished with time to spare before curfew. So it just didn't seem to be his weekend both weekends. But going back to the crowds, though, there's been so much discourse online about the crowds and them being dead. Weekend 2 has always had a different vibe. A lot of people even say that it's better because the crowds are less influencer heavy and more about the music. But even still, the comments came about people still feeling like the weekend 2 vibe was just not there. And I will say, you know, Coachella is exhausting. It's hot, it's dusty, it's a lot of standing, a lot of walking between stages. People are tired, and sometimes they just want to vibe in the back with their friends in a frozen lemonade. It doesn't always mean that the artist isn't loved or appreciated. Having gone both weekends and observed the crowds, I do think that no matter what, fans are in the GA having a blast. That's where I watched Charlie. I feel like the energy was electric. People were jumping, they were dancing. The more VIP you try and go, the less of a vibe, to be honest. I do think that weekend 2 has a different energy, though. It is more chill. I think people are more relaxed. The outfits are more relaxed. I feel like it's less about the photos. It's more about the experience, bonding with friends, listening to music. I don't know if people are necessarily more excited or, you know, dancing and jumping more, but I do think that there is a different energy in the air. Maybe it's because people have seen what there was to see weekend 1. They've scheduled things out better. They know the set list. It's more calm. I don't know. I feel like weekend 1 is more stressful. You're like, oh my gosh, like, I don't want to miss this. What if I miss this? What if this person comes out? You're always just like kind of on edge a little bit. Weekend 2 is a little bit more slowed down, and I don't know. I think it's more chill. But for those who don't think that the crowds were lit, there surely was one person in attendance this week who was, and that was deadmau5, as he performed as his alias Testpilot. Scheduled for a back-to-back set on the Kesha stage, the night took an unexpected turn when he appeared visibly intoxicated. He was taking shots, slurring his speech, and even falling behind the DJ booth. The set was cut short and he had to be assisted off stage. And the following day, he addressed the incident on Instagram, posting a photo of his cat, and he captioned it, "Man, even my cat is disappointed in me." though it could be argued that she always has been. Sorry about last night, lol. To be fair, I felt the first 3/4 were great. Huge shout out to Zoo for introducing me to whiskey and carrying my dump till the bitter end. Let me quit smoking, do some effing personal resting here at home, find my spirit animal, work on some new music, and come back better. This was just so crazy. I didn't witness this in person, but I did see the clips online the next day, and I was just like, wow, that is crazy. He played on one of the newer stages, and that stage was actually really, really sick, but that is just wild that he had to be basically whisked away from the set. Now, of course, let's talk about some tiny things that were talked about before we wrap up the festival news, because there were a couple other surprises that happened. The Weeknd popped out with Jenna Ortega to promote their new movie, Hurry Up Tomorrow. I did think The Weeknd was going to come out at someone's set because I felt like that would have been a little bit more talked about. And then on stage, she could have been like, go check out Hurry Up Tomorrow, but he just made like a photo op appearance in front of the Ferris wheel. Kesha made a surprise appearance with A.G. Cook. Mustard brought out Tyga, Ty Dolla $ign, Nav, and Roddy Ricch. And the LA Philharmonic gave us a moment with Cynthia Erivo, Dave Grohl, and Natasha Bedingfield, which I am so sad that I missed. But I did get to see the LA Philharmonic come out with Zed. Benson Boone also brought out a cardboard cutout of Brian May after he actually came out with him last week. Ed Sheeran came out with Post Malone. And speaking of Ed Sheeran, he did a set this year. It was a last-minute replacement for FK Twigs after she withdrew from the lineup due to visa issues. Originally, she was scheduled to perform both weekends, but to fill in her space, last weekend, Weezer performed, and this week, Ed Sheeran performed. The crowd was jam-packed for him at this stage. It was not a big stage, but oh my gosh, the crowd was crazy. Good vibes though. I do think that is the thing. Like, though unfortunate, because like hard to get a good space when there are a lot of people there, it is more exciting. It does make it more fun. And just getting to hear Ed Sheeran sing all his bangers, I was honored to just be within the vicinity. So yeah, weekend 2 was a roller coaster. Mic malfunctions to Travis Scott yelling that, you know, someone on his team is getting fired during the performance. It's been a crazy festival time, and who knows, maybe there will be some stagecoach drama or something, because that's this coming weekend. The same spot as Coachella, but country music fans will be heading to the desert instead. We'll just have to see what ends up happening. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. Did you guys go to Coachella? Are you going to Stagecoach? Let me know in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.